I'm James Vogley, CEO of Housing First Minnesota.
I'm Bill Burgess, Division President at Lennar, Minnesota.
Housing First Minnesota's mission is homeownership opportunities for all Minnesotans, and that takes us to the community in a variety of ways. Legislative process, through the political process, through connecting with Minnesotans through our home tours, through our charitable foundation. We're in the business of homeownership.
In Lennar, Minnesota, we're the #1 builder in the Twin Cities. We've been actively involved in the association for a few decades now and really feel it's an important part of our industry. How can we collectively represent the rights of our associates, our members, home buyers, future generation of buyers out there, and really what can we do to support the home building industry? And the best way to do that is through Housing First Minnesota. Well, we originally started working with Genius Monkey, I think about in 2012. Really, how do we find out, coming out of the great housing downturn, how do we find a different way of reaching our potential buyers out there? And we started with Genius Monkey back then, and we found it really to be so effective on what we were doing that we looked at it with the Housing First. How could we introduce that into Housing First to reach more people with the messaging of ownership and affordability, and eventually into the political spectrum that we had. Back then, when we were starting Housing First, the advocacy side of it, and we started early on. I mean, we were learning how to get into that space. And when we talked to people, the #1 thing they kept telling us over and over again is, let's do mail drops, yes. Right? Let's do brochures, let's do door hangers, right? And we tried that. And the problem comes in during the electoral cycle. That time, you'd go get your mailbox, you'd open it up, and every night you had 5 postcards in there from candidates. And what'd you do? You were just one of many. Whether they're the same size, different size, greater graphics or fonts, it was all 5 that you got. And we recognized we really weren't moving the needle there. And that's when we really thought about moving into the digital side with Genius Monkey. And when we began to do polling on it to figure out just what's most effective on creating name ID, name awareness of our candidates, we found by far our digital side was exponential. When we looked at over time, we saw name ID increasing dramatically. And it was through that digital presentation through Genius Monkey.
The awareness of candidates, their name ID, awareness of issues. And we'd see that in the analytics. We'd match that with the polling. There was a connection, undoubtedly. We also heard it on the ground. So, and when elections were completed and we would connect with folks who were involved in those elections, they saw these ads, they felt at the ground level like there was a greater presence than maybe they had seen previously. And we attribute that back to our digital strategies with Genius Monkey.
Yeah, I mean, from the candidate perspective, it's one thing to say you did a mail drop for them, and that happened one time during that cycle. But to say that you did a steady campaign for 4 to 6 weeks and everybody in their district was being served numerous times, they were hearing that week after week after week from people coming up, and I said, I saw it online, I saw you online, I saw this online. The name ID, the repetition was so much compared to just that one mail drop. The candidates definitely recognized that we heard back from them. It was so much more impactful.
We saw immediate results in traffic, engagement, and brand awareness, and that's both in our public affairs, the advocacy, our home tour brand, and in our rebrand as Housing First Minnesota.
Through Genius Monkey, reaching that awareness out there, getting that messaging out there that it was a good time to buy. Housing was a good investment. We saw a tremendous uptick in our analytics, and it allowed to take a 65-year-old brand on the Parade of Homes, use Genius Monkey to introduce to a whole new group of people. And we saw that an increase in traffic, increase of awareness, increase in the idea of messaging of, yes, now is a good time to buy.
In politics, repetitions are necessary. It's necessary to connect with your target audience multiple times to deliver a message in a very cluttered environment. We were able to do that, but it wasn't enough just to do repetitions. We had to have a level of precision. We had to talk about homeownership to a unique cohort, a bipartisan cohort, and that makes us a bit unique in politics. We're talking to generations and layers of the public who are interested in homeownership, and that is a universal value. So that makes this a more challenging exercise. We're not simply looking to find someone that fits a very well-defined political box. We're looking for precision to find folks who might be motivated to think about homeownership as a key issue in a new way. And Genius Monkey helped us do that.
You know, one of the things that we saw that was so much differently that with Genius Monkey versus other people that had offered a similar service was, Genius Monkey, we have the ability to go through multiple networks and multiple channels versus in others where you might be focused very much on one channel. And I always kind of equate that to the old way of advertising, like a billboard. I'm gonna place a billboard along one highway where I think my clientele might drive by there, where with Genius Monkey, through the multiple networks and channels, it's like I'm placing a billboard on a car. Doesn't matter where they drive, they're always gonna see what we're looking to serve to them because we're gonna be everywhere where they're going to be. And then the ability just to target through the different keywords, whether it's home building or what they might be looking to or looking to move or being married, all these different attributes that we can put in there to help more specialize and tailor into what we're looking for, just gives the greatest flexibility and greatest efficiency. And often what we see is the yielding from our dollar spent is often a multiple of what we find from others, whether it's 3, 4, 5x on there. There's such a value towards that and getting our messaging out. Not only being where people are and have the ability to see more people, but just doing it more effectively.
When we started, we heard, Bill and I heard, at least when you deliver mail, you know it gets to your target audience. And we heard that and we considered it. What we found is there's no question that our message got to our target audience multiple times and multiple messages. It was like, Bill mentions, an incredibly efficient budget item in our overall strategy. I mean, we got performance that exceeded our other strategies in our digital work with Genius Monkey.
There's no doubt we knew the mail got there.
Yeah.
But we also knew that you were getting 6 or 7 other pieces of mail for a candidate at that time. Did you really pay attention to it? We know it got there, but did it get to their tabletop from their mailbox, their tabletop to the garbage right away? Did anybody pay attention? But we knew through the candidates, through the people in the district that were telling the candidates, we knew that when we ran an ad, we were hearing from multiple people. Geez, I saw your ad, I saw about this candidate. You know, we were hearing feedback actively that they were seeing it. And not only seeing it once, but multiple times. So we knew it was being effective.
Well, we know it's effective when we have opponents to what we're trying to accomplish tell us, get your ad off my phone. That happens, and we looked at that as some mark of effectiveness, and that there were folks that we wanted to connect with who their ad kept getting served, so it was great referendum on that. As we evaluate the success of the campaign, we were over 80% bipartisan victory in our 2 largest efforts in election cycles. That's hard to match. And as we set out into this, you always want to measure success. You want to have efficiency. You want to accomplish the campaign goals. And we did that.
That's something that's measurable. I mean, it's often hard to find out how effective you're being, but on the advocacy side, it's pretty simple. Did you move the needle? Did you were able to find housing champions out there that you supported that they eventually won? And are you increasing that over time? And that's what we really found out by using Genius Monkey and having it be such an integral part, and really kind of transition away from when we started early on the traditional, door hangers or mail drops to go into a digital campaign. We just found it was so much more effective that we just transitioned naturally to that.
It's been a great relationship, and we felt especially empowered by the degree of data and understanding how our campaigns are performing. And I think that does differentiate Genius Monkey and the digital medium from some of the other tactics that we've mentioned. We're able in real time to evaluate how we're connecting, how our messages are being received. And so that was an incredibly valuable piece of it.
And I think just the different ways that we can selectively target groups as we begin to see what's effective and we look back. How do we begin to refine and fine-tune the path that we're going down? Or is there anything else we can find as our messaging shifts a little bit? Are there other groups that we can target and try out to find out if it's being more effective on the new direction we're going as we evolve over time? And I think that's what's important, finding a partner who's willing to listen, willing to give you that feedback, and willing to adjust, and constantly let the data drive the decisions you want to make in the future and the direction you go.
This was game-changing for us. 10 years ago, we were looking for our pathway, and Genius Monkey helped us find it. And it's really, our success is a shared success with Genius Monkey and many other partners along the way. So we're very happy with where we've come in the last decade, and now we're focused on the next decade and the work that's in front of us. It's getting to be a more complex world. The challenge of communicating clearly in the public affairs space has probably never been greater. My hunch is that it will continue to be a challenge. So for organizations like Housing First that are looking for a way to cut through, Genius Monkey is a partner that can help you do that, and can do it in a way that will be an on-ramp to a discussion that maybe you're not getting in a standard communication strategy.
Every advertising medium, everybody says that they can do it. Everybody says it's me too, we're basically the same. And whether that's through emailing or programmatical, everybody claims they can do the same. But what we found out is not everything is created equal. And I would really suggest that you dive in and see the differences between what Genius Monkey has the ability to do on their programmatical versus others. Whether it's the range of networks, the range of targeting, whether it's analytic feedback, they're going to give you more information to drive and data to drive your decisions. Often today we see big providers of that say, provide us a budget, trust us, and we'll tell you at the end maybe we'll tell you, maybe we won't, on how your money was spent, and maybe you'll see the results or maybe you won't. With Genius Monkey, you don't have to worry about that. You're getting the data, you've got a partner that's willing to work with you to understand that data, drive results, work with you to make a difference. And I think that's the key thing, is someone that you can trust moving forward. So not all are created equal, but you've got to be willing to take that chance to understand the difference and really dive into it. I highly recommend it. We saw that through Housing First. We've seen it through the last decade of being able to make a difference on, one, creating Housing First, that advocacy group, into something that's a world-class leading organization, but more importantly, driving a difference even on the standard, the Parade. Here was a name tour that had been around 65 years, but when we engaged Genius Monkey, it took it up to a whole nother level as far as reaching people and getting the messaging out and creating a greater sphere of awareness and introducing people to a whole new generation.
The real-time analytics are a tremendous tool for any organization that's looking to shape public opinion on a ballot initiative, on an electoral campaign, on an issue campaign. But when the campaign is finished, our experience has been, we've been seen and we've been heard, and that's, I think, something in the advocacy space that's very important. It's very important to be able to, when the campaign settles, when election is settled, and people say, I saw you everywhere, and that's something we found in Genius Monkey.